Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. It's October 6, 2024. It is also Sunday, so I hope that you're getting an opportunity to enjoy at least a bit of your weekend. Now, today I've got quite a few things to go over, not just things that will affect the market. So hopefully if you have enough coffee, if you don't, at least if you have some refills ready, because I've got a few things to go over. First, I would like to thank those of you that support this channel on a regular basis. I truly appreciate you. And if you're new here, please remember to subscribe. And if you would hit the like, it helps the channel tremendously. And I do believe in being a bit shadow banned. So thank you all so much with that. Let's move forward with what I think is affecting the market and what has happened last week. So with this, let's start with the MMR as our favorite risk indicator. It has risen. It's above 252 at 252.7 right now. More importantly, is it hit this number rather rapidly. So what we watched was a bit of a spike in the 10-year yield is what's going on. We've got to watch this 10-year treasury yield because this is showing instability in that debt market. We've also got increase in the Dixie, which is the relative strength of the dollar, now above 102.49 and rising rapidly. So with this, they're going to show a little bit of instabilities, I believe, and market open tomorrow if this does not level off. Now, some of this is the global instability, basically the war, but I'll talk a little bit more about what else is going on. Now, with this, we've got the fear greed meter also showing strong greed, basically on extreme on the level here at 74. This is retailers piling in, gambling, if you will, on the stock market and money flowing in from this lower end. Now, with the volume increasing, we are going to watch the basically institutions and larger money use this volume to get out of their positions. Now, we're at a period of time just prior to the elections where they want to keep the markets green, but we've got only a few weeks left. I think they're going to bolster these until this the best that they can. And that's what we're watching in the markets. Now, we've got this strong jobs report, and I think that should be in quotes. I'll tell you why in a moment, fueling this market rally on Friday. Also had Microsoft stocks on the rise, so as one of the Mag 7, that gave a lot of strength to the tech sector. So why do I say it should be in quotes? That's because the jobs report is been revised for the past multiple reports. So we expect that will be the case again. It's been revised down, but every single time this report comes out, the market reacts as if it is realistic. So expectations for this to be corrected later, but we're going with whatever it says at the moment. And that's going to be enough to hold us through the election period, which is going to be the first week of November. So with this, we are watching that spike in the 10-year, strength in the relative strength of the dollar. This is in turn putting pressure on the other currencies. So we are watching the yen and the euro coming under relative pressure with this. And we know the yen carry trade still pulling out. But with this, they don't have to hike their rates. So cryptocurrencies also above, Bitcoin above 62,000, gaining some strength as well. That was a buy the dip opportunity. Now we've got manufacturing weak in a weak spot in surprisingly strong US jobs data. We've got more data coming out this week. We're in particular looking Thursday at the CPI for core inflation. And then Friday, we're getting basically bank earnings, pardon me. So with JP Morgan, Chase, and Wells Fargo will be reporting. And that is going to basically show what's going on with that sector. With this, I have left this up from yesterday because oil price is still rising on all of the instability and war going on. And more importantly, the reason I left these up are the symbols, because someone else had asked me again what symbols they would look at playing with oil. So these are some of these. Couple of my favorites are ExxonMobil, XOM, CVX, Chevron, and Oxy. So with those hopefully will help you out with the trades there. Now, we had the sentiment on the strong quote unquote data reports because it's always revised. We've got the election pending. So they will keep these markets propped up as much as they can, at least until that first week. And the war concerns spiking not just oil, but also the volatility index or the VIX. Okay, with this, let's move forward into what we're expecting the calendar this week. We've got Fed presidents speaking again, consumer credit. Again, as we get all of these numbers, the big things that we are looking forward to are Wednesday, the minutes of the Fed Open Market Committee. We've got Thursday, again, the CPI is the large number that they will be looking at to direct whether they're going to cut these rates or not. And then, of course, Friday, after this core PPI, we're also getting the bank earnings. So all of these will have an effect in the markets, but I'll be with you every morning prior to the market open. So with the banks, I want to bring up, there is some weakness in the smaller banks. While we expect these larger banks to continue to do better, we had another incident after the Bank of America freeze last week. Now this one is UK banking app, but it went down, leaving thousands without access to their funds. Now, as we're watching these closures of the physical banks, these apps and the online banking are becoming much more susceptible to these quote unquote issues. We know this is the way that they're moving forward. They are moving towards CBDC, central bank digital currencies. And with this, wanted to bring up, this is BlackRock's announcement. Now they're backing their new stable coin, basically launched by Athena and backed by BlackRock's fund. So designed, as they're saying, to provide a reliable alternative to the stable coin market. Just leveraging investments in US dollars. Again, leveraging, that is always the trouble with these. But of course, backed by one of the largest corporations in the world. So that makes everything okay. With all of this instability, we have Pakistan coming out saying that if Israel attacks their territory, they will use nuclear weapons. Now, this is a very bold statement, but the take-home story from this is that not just the larger powers have nuclear weapons, and it wouldn't take much for this powder keg that we're basically sitting on to go off in a grand scale. Okay, with this, they've got other plans for us, and I just want to bring this up. Thank you to Chris from Truth Warrior, basically, and I'll leave a link to his videos. If you haven't seen him, you might want to take a look. He's got a lot of excellent material that he covers, but he brought this to my attention. This is the New York City health officials holding what they're calling a bird flu tabletop exercise. Now, basically, what this is a simulation on then I have to watch what I hold here, but basically the spreading of such things, health warnings. This is backed by Ginkgo Biosecurity, and basically this is a list of the companies that are already slated to benefit from this. So this is Sanofi, GlaxoSmithKline, CSL, and a few others that are tapped to expand the supply of this stuff that we would need in case people have this fear-driven issue. Now, with this, I would like to bring up that it's not going to come from here. It's not going to be birds because it's not frightening enough. It's going to be likely something more like this one because it's hemorrhagic and much more dramatic. It will bring a lot more fear, and so that will be much more effective for what they're looking to do. So with this, let's move on and hope this video actually makes it out. So turning to something completely different now, we've got the Russian ambassador to the United States has gone back. Now this is Antonov. Basically, his term has ended, but the issue is that there are major fractured ties between the United States and Russia, and no replacement yet. So hopefully something like that will come back. We've got a few other things that are going on right now. This is mainly BRICS. Now, BRICS is having a conference in Kazan soon. Russia is now the new chair of them. And basically, they've got a couple of events coming up. The first is October 9th, which is this week. They've got a think tank for the Network for Finance conference. Now, BRICS has been growing by leaps and bounds, to say the slightest. They've now eclipsed the G7 as far as GDP, and they've got multiple other countries putting in applications so that they can join. Now, they've got much more looking to join them than the other side, so to speak, does with NATO or anything else. Now, the larger meeting in my mind is the second meeting for the Ministers of Finance and Central Bank Governors. Now, this happens the 11th of October. And basically, what they're doing is they're deciding on a central bank digital currency that they're going to be using across platform to do all of their trades now. Not they're doing it now in native currencies, but they're looking to use an agreed upon CBDC, stablecoin, whatever you want to call it. That will basically be a very strong rival for the Western currencies. So with this, we've got also, along with this, they seized a large cache of NATO supplied weapons, basically with what's going on in the area over here. I can't mention too much else with this. It will get this video taken down for sure. But not a good look for what else is going on here. Okay, so I'd like to expand with this. Some of the bombings that have been happening, basically, if they've got the leader basically looking for replacement, he has disappeared. So this is difficult because I can't say too much about this, but basically you can get what's going on here. So one other thing I would like to speak about is there's a former Army Green Beret basically taken in, organized a failed coup in Venezuela. He's being charged now with basically arms trade and whatnot out of Florida. There's a lot more to this story. If you would like to hear more details on these things, feel free to leave a comment. It might get stricken by YouTube, but just ask me for a link to Discord. I'll send you one. I leave my email down below so that you can join us there, because if your comments don't make it here, I won't be able to see them. So with this, I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'll see you again in the morning. Until I do again, my friends, stay free.